Hello, Rangers! Rebel Games here again, back in Wasteland 3, and today we are going over our heavy gunner build. Now, this build, I'm going to be focusing on the weapons and the armor and the different mods that I've put on those items, and not necessarily the build itself. This build, we're building around the Pyromaniac, Explodomaniac, heavy machine gun build that the Critically Clueless has a video out on. So I will put a link in the description down below to that video, and so you can kind of see the direction of the build of what that is. But as you can kind of see, what we've done with our stats here, coordination, awareness, strength, and intelligence are all maxed. And then the two critical pieces here, because since we're building towards a specific heavy machine gun that we want to use, and you may be able to guess it from the picture. We're going to use the Pyromaniac quirk, which gives 25% explosive damage bonus, and then Explodomaniac background, which gives 15% explosive damage bonus. That together gives us a 40% explosive damage bonus for what we're doing here. So that's going to help us not only on rockets and on that, but also help with our machine gun that we want to use. So from a skills perspective, where big guns, explosives, and mechanics are both all maxed. Now the really cool thing about this also will play into another weapon we're using, is with the mechanics max, we get plus 30% robot vehicles and synth bonus. And then you'll see with one of the other, our robot weapon that we have, I think when we add all these together, we're going to have a 90% damage bonus against robots, vehicles, and synths. So we'll go through and I'll show you what that looks like. We just got the book to get us our last point in big guns, so that's why we don't have widespread yet. Next level, or the next time I think it is the next level, next time I get a perk point, it's going to go into widespread, and so we'll increase the firing arc of our machine guns and our flamethrowers. But pretty typical build out on perks here. I haven't taken the hardened yet. We're just not there yet. So I'll kind of give a little scroll down here. You can kind of see what other perks I've taken. Again, I'm not focused on the build per se as much as I am about the armor and the weapons. So on to the armor and the weapons. So we are going with the Verkiten armor set. So what that's going to do, and then I want to pop in here and show you what mods I've thrown on here. So obviously the Verkiten gives us a blanket resistance across everything. So I think it's 5% fire, cold, and energy on these, but then what we've added in here is a plus 6% crit resistance and plus 1 armor, so it's a little more armor, but we get that crit resistance, so that's good. This armor set has armor for days. You can see we're at 70 armor. That is nuts. It's crazy. Bullets are not getting through this thing. So where I'm really focusing on is on those resistances to keep that down. This guy's a frontliner. He's going to be out in front, taking the hits, getting the splash damage and all that stuff, so we want to protect him from that. On the chest, we've gone with the polyxylene, I think that's how you pronounce it, polyxylene barrier, and that is a plus 1 armor with 30% cold, energy, fire, and explosive resistances. That's awesome. So that when we add that on with the built-in resistances that are on the chest, it gives us 45% resistance against fire, cold, and energy, and then 30% explosives, and then our 35% stat resistance effect, and a 36 armor on that. So really, really good. And then for legs, again, we get the 5% across fire, cold, and energy, but what we went with was the personal drive. That gives us a little more combat speed and plus 1 armor. And so again, this guy wants to get out in front and start laying down either machine gun fire or flamethrowers, whatever, right? Rockets, you know, that's where he's looking to live, and he wants to be right out in front. Now, speaking of weapons, so this is the Nithogg. You get this, and when you go to Aspen, there's an area where you can go in and you can actually find the Nithogg. Not trying to put a spoiler in here at all, but that's kind of where you get it. So you have to be post Aspen in order to get the Nithogg. As a 50 caliber weapon, has 30 round magazine, and it takes 7 AP to fire 5 shots, and so it does a really good thing. The key piece of this thing is that every shot is explosive, so it uses explosive ammunition, so every bullet it fires counts as explosive damage. So that's where the Pyromaniac and Explodomaniac perks come in. So that's extra 40% damage just because I'm using this weapon, plus some of the anything else that we're doing here. So when you add in like explosives, that's going to give you a plus bonus as well. And so all of that stuff adds up to do massive damage when you're using the Nithogg. So how do we mod this thing? So some of you may have some contention over this, so please leave me a comment down below and let me know where I messed up on the build on this. But I think as I kind of go through the reasoning on this, you might understand what we're doing. So barrel wise, I went with a lightweight barrel. Now why did I do that? Heavy machine guns have notoriously horrible hit chances, right? They're very shaky, they have a horrible hit chance. So the lightweight barrel gives us a plus 12% hit chance. That's big. That's going to mean more of these shots with these explosive damage and all the bonuses that go along with that are going to hit. It also gives us a little more penetration. Not really cared about that too much. It does go from 99 to 100. And the thing's got a massive penetration as it is, so it's not really that big of a deal. But the downside is negative 12 damage. So you're going, oh my gosh. But I think we make all that up with all of our explosive damage bonuses. So I think this is a good pairing to get that hit chance way up by 12%. That's a big increase. Now I also went with the Farsight computer assisted scope. That gives us a plus 9 meter range. That's huge. That puts the range on the Nithogg, a heavy machine gun, out to the same range as like sniper rifles. So 24 meter range, that's huge. This thing can reach out and really send the love across the battlefield. So that's really cool. So we got the 24 meter range, we got the plus 12% hit chance, and we're for that 9 meter range, we're just paying 5% crit chance. So I'm not really worried about this thing critting so much because it does a ton of damage base wise, and it does it 5 times. So it's gonna hit like a Mack truck. So we only get a 20% hit chance, but that means one out of 5 of the shots should crit if you're playing the odds. So we're gonna get one of those shots at least to crit. If it's 25%, it's a little more than one. So it's really, when you look at the odds on there, it's a very minor price to pay for that extra range. And then we're going with the plus 7 hit chance SWAT light underneath there. So that's going to give us a plus 69% hit chance. That's almost the same hit chance as stock SMGs and assault rifles have. So that's really good. So cool. So that's the Nithogg. So before I go into the Tesla arc projector, which is the secondary right now, the other weapon this guy will use from time to time, we have an incinerator. Pretty basic on this guy. I'm not going to go over that one. This one, it's nothing special about the mods I have on there. That would be just the standard flamethrower. But the javelin is his rocket, so we'll use on this one. We go with 7% hit chance and the 0.3x crit damage for cost of a negative 5 hit chance. This thing is 100% hit chance out of the box stock. 95% chance is not that bad. When I get a plus 0.3x crit damage, so that's going to go to a 3.35x crit damage on a 32% crit chance. That's pretty good. So this thing's going to do some little more beefy damage. Plus with the Explodomaniac and the explosives, it just does massive damage. You know, 'cause I do have the quirk that a direct hit with this thing crits every time. I mean, it's a one-shot kill. So that's really good. So now, here's the thing that I think is going to be really cool. So remember, we have the mechanics maxed out. So that's plus 30% damage to robots, synths, and vehicles. Then we have the Tesla arc projector, which is an energy-based weapon, normally has plus 30% to robots, synths, vehicles, and synths as well. But you notice this has got plus 60%. So I think all that combined is going to be a plus 90% damage to robots, vehicles, and synths. And here's why. So I'm going to modify this weapon. We put the plasma linkage, which converts the already energy damage to energy damage to add a plus 30% against robots, vehicles, and synths. So all that combined, you're going to get that plus 60 on the weapon, plus the plus 30 we're getting from mechanics. It's plus 90%. So this thing's going to do a massive amount of damage to robots, vehicles. This is our synth killer, essentially. So it is a flamethrower class weapon, so it's going to have a range and it's going to have a firing arc. We also threw on the Deadeye experimental scope. This is going to give us plus 10% crit chance, so that's really good. It's going to bump the crit chance up to 35% with a negative 5 meter range. Well, okay, flamethrowers don't have that long a range as it is, so why would you do that? Okay, well, we're putting a choke on this guy the extended choke, which gives us plus 5 meter range. So that compensates for the loss here. So we keep our range the same at 16 meters, but then we reduce the cone angle down. So instead of having this be an AE flamethrower, I'm having this almost be a very narrow one target, maybe two targets if they're lined up, flamethrower that will just annihilate any synth. So almost look at this thing as like a particle beam weapon almost, if you will, for killing robots. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about this on this guy. So it's got a 95% hit chance, a 16 meter range, and a 35% crit chance at 2.6x crit damage. But when we're attacking robots, vehicles, and synths, we're getting plus 60% damage. So that's a big bump up. Plus then 30% that we have for mechanics, that's 90%. That's almost doubling the damage on this thing. So that thing's going to be somewhere between 160 to 240 damage, somewhere in that range, close to that. My numbers probably aren't exact, but that's huge for a flamethrower. And then when we get the perk on the big guns to widen up flamethrower and machine gun arcs, this is going to widen back out a little bit more. Just a little bit, so we may be able to capture a few guys in there. So anyways, so that's kind of what I'm thinking about with this Tesla arc projector. Again, leave me a comment down below. If you got the Tesla arc projector, how did you mod it? Did you go down the same path with this, or did you do something differently? Love to hear about that. So on to the stats. So what does this look like when we put all this stuff together on this guy? So 420 con. We got 11, start off with 11 action points. That's huge. That's really good because he's got takes what 7 AP for the Nithogg and then 5 AP on the Tesla. So and I think 6 AP on the Javelin. So yeah, so really high action point items here. So having those 11 is really good. Hit chance 139%. Boom. He is hitting. He is gonna be hitting with this thing. 20% hit chance, crit chance, sorry, on that one, 2.1x on the crit damage. Only a 3 penetrate, although that's not including the Nithogg has a 100 hit penetration on that one. He's not doing sneak attack damage. He's got 70 armor, so he's catching bullets for days. A little bit of evasion, a little bit of crit resistance, really not that big of a deal. But here we go. The fire resistance, cold resistance, energy resistance are all 35%. And then explosive resistance, 60%. Status effect, 35%. Okay, we're good there. And then range damage bonus is 127 range damage bonus, but 195% explosive damage bonus. That is huge, folks. So everything is almost 2x of what it normally would do. So that's great. Yeah, so anyways, leave a comment down below. Leave a like if you like this video. Leave a comment down below on how you did and if you do things differently, how your heavy machine gun build looks like. And then if you want to see more videos like this, hit subscribe, hit the bell icon to be notified when these get released. So until then, I will talk to you all later. Bye.
My eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He's tramping out the vintage where the grapes are at the store. He'll loose the